Hello and welcome back to Badminton Weekly for part 2 of our TotalEnergies BWF Sudirman Cup Finals build-up. I'm Jasmine Lim, and in the last episode, we covered Group C and D, and today we'll be taking a closer look, as promised, at Group A and B. With us again this week to talk us through our discussions and analysis, please welcome back Singapore player and two-time Olympian Derek Wong.
Thanks, and nice to be here again.
It's good to have you back in the studio. Group A and B, very exciting group as well. Equally exciting as Group C and D for sure. But let's go ahead and start with Group A, okay? So Group A includes defending and 12-time champion. We've got China, European champion Denmark, we've got Singapore, and African champion Egypt. But before we delve deeper into the teams themselves, Derek, as a former Sudirman Cup player yourself, can you share with us a little bit more about your experiences playing in this tournament?
Yes, definitely. I really enjoyed playing in the Sudirman Cup. The reason why I enjoy it is because I really get to gel and bond together with my other teammates. So like you see in SEA Games, in Thomas Cup or Uber Cup, you are just playing in your respective men's team and women's team. But in this Sudirman Cup, we all get together. Usually the day before our match against an opponent, the coaches will gather us into the room. So what I look forward to is really to see if I'm the one who will be, fronting the team and going on court the next day, and to try and win that point for the team.
I think that's definitely a very nerve-wracking and exciting moment as well. And as you said, the team dynamics, I think that's definitely something to look forward to in this tournament. It really changes the game a little bit. That said, from Group A, we know that China are favorites to go through this round. But what do you make of Singapore's chances of following them to the next stage, especially with Denmark being in this mix as well?
I do see Singapore in a tough group as well, given that we have China that's won it so many times, and they have that experience. I'm not talking just about players, but I'm talking about coaches, talk about the strategy and everything that they have behind them to get their team far in this tournament. Denmark has definitely made a name out of themselves in I won't say recent years, for quite some time already. So Singapore would definitely have to struggle hard against these two very, very strong opponents.
So perhaps this would be the second group of death, so to speak.
Yes.
And as you mentioned, Denmark is a pretty strong one. An interesting clash is of course Denmark and Singapore, where one standout is actually the battle between Victor Axelsen and Loh Kian Yew in the men's singles category. These two players, they are very familiar with each other. They have trained together, and with Axelsen's recent uncertain form, do you think that Loh stands a chance here to capitalize it and perhaps help Singapore get the advantage and advance to the next round?
I would say Kian Yew does stand a chance against Axelsen. Kian Yew training together with Axelsen, he would have access to some of Axelsen's little secrets, and maybe he can sort of draw out some of his Axelsen's weaknesses or strengths and know how to work around that and get himself an advantage on court. So if we look at the video, right, Kian Yew is actually controlling the net a bit more. He's making Axelsen twist and turn, making him move in positions that will get him out of position, so that Kian Yew can eventually then go for the killer smash, because that is what Kian Yew is good in, right? He has that very quick jump and then jump in the air, and then he goes for that quick kill. But all this comes into play is because he's able to, first of all, gain control of the net. This is actually one of Axelsen's strengths, I see. Axelsen is usually the one that gets the advantage of the net, and then he goes for the kill. But now if we see Kian Yew is actually using it against Axelsen. Yeah.
That's very interesting, the fact that he's using Axelsen's strategy against him, right? Yeah. So what a way to sort of go against world number one. And as we said earlier, China is said to defend their title well, especially being the fact that they in their own backyard, where fans will be eager to come down to the venue, watch their favorites play for the first time since the pandemic. Do you think that being on home ground will give the Chinese team an advantage or a boost of confidence or morale here?
Definitely. China is really a very formidable team now, and knowing that it is going to be held in China, right? They are probably already training in that venue to get used to the hall, get used to the shuttles that will be used, And I would say this doesn't just apply to this tournament, but if you think about countries that host competitions, right? Usually your own home players will get to train in the venue a lot more. One thing to also note is that I would say China has recently covered their men's singles as well. If you look at recent games like the All England, we have 2 Chinese players in the men's singles category in the finals. So Li Shifeng and Shi Yuqi. And these 2 players have shown that they have grown over the months since the pandemic, and now China really has beefed up a lot in this area, and they've covered all their categories very well.
So I guess it's a safe thing to say that they've covered all their weaknesses here.
That's right.
They will be a tough, team to beat for sure. But outside of Group A, who do you think will be China's toughest opponent?
So I would think the other team that can really put up a good fight against China would be Indonesia. I think that they have a decent all-rounded team as well. So let's see. I think they are the team to look out for.
I love the fact that you brought up Indonesia because, of course, they're also a favorite to go deep in this year's Sudirman Cup because of the fact that they did win in the very first tournament back in 1989. Now, Hendra Setiawan, a prominent player in the team, this year he's decided to take on a mentor role, and he's expressed optimism about taking home the trophy once again. To tell us more, here's Hendra.
And let's have a huge Birmingham welcome for the number 3 seeds, also from Indonesia, Muhammad Hassan and Hendra Setiawan.
Di sektor ganda putra itu punya banyak pasangan ya. Kalau nggak salah ada 6 pasang, dan mereka sudah bagus-bagus juga. Jadi ya saya juga sudah berumur, dan mungkin akan lebih baik kalau yang muda-muda yang main, karena kedepannya kan mereka pasti yang akan main terus. Ya saya mungkin banyak bercerita lah sama teman-teman saya lah, maksudnya sharing ke pengalaman saya, bagaimana kalau main di tim event, kasih masukan agar mereka saling membantu. Misalkan tunggal putra butuh bantuan, ya ganda putra bisa bantu, dan semua sektor saling bantu lah ya. Dan yang pasti bagian besar teman-teman juga udah sering main di tim event juga ya. Jadi mereka bisa mengatasi juga sih pressure-nya. Saya rasa di grup B paling kuat adalah Thailand ya, lawan kita. Thailand cukup merata juga dari mixed double. Mereka punya Japol Sapsire, terus dari tunggal putri, ganda putri, tunggal putra ya. Jadi ya mereka cukup merata sih memang. Mungkin yang benar-benar di atas kita adalah ganda putra. Fajarian kali ini sudah world number 1 kan ya. Jadi dia lebih confident, lebih percaya diri lagi, lebih yakin lagi, dan saya yakin mereka bisa menyumbangkan poin. Ginting juga saya rasa persiapan kemarin sudah maksimal, dan dia punya speed dan juga power yang bagus. Jadi ya saya harapkan kalau dia diturunkan juga bisa menyumbang poin ya. Terakhir-terakhir ini juga tunggal putri kita sama ganda putri kita juga lagi naik kan ya. Jadi saya yakin tim ini lebih merata lah ya. Jadi ya saya harap mereka bisa juara grup. Indonesia bisa juara grup. Saya berharap mereka bisa juara lah ya. Tapi memang nggak mudah. Ya semua bisa terjadi. Ya asalkan itu ya mereka yakin lagi, dan juga jangan takut lah melawan siapapun. Yang penting mereka tampil maksimal saja, nggak usah memikirkan menang atau kalah. Jadi ya main maksimal, dan apapun hasilnya semua pasti menerima.
Indonesia, of course, finds themselves in Group B alongside Thailand, Germany, and American champions Canada. Do you think that Hendra's wish of seeing Indonesia lift the trophy this year could be a reality?
Okay, I do see Indonesia being quite comfortable getting out of the group stages, but beyond that, they would have to come up against strong contenders like China, Denmark, and Korea. And these 3 would be the countries that they would need to really look out.
And speaking of right players, Indonesia's strongest discipline is of course the men's doubles. But in the women's singles category, they've been pretty good as well, with Gregoria Tunjung winning in the Madrid, Spain Masters, beating PV Sindhu and Carolina Marin along the way. Do you think that she could possibly be the key for the Indonesians in, getting past that group stage and really getting the trophy?
Indonesia already has quite a decent, like I said, all-rounder team. With Tunjung, it just adds the additional chance for them to make it further in this competition. Given that she's won players like PV Sindhu and Marin, it shows that she is now able to handle the bigger players. And yeah, definitely I look forward to seeing her play against those players in this competition as well.
Right, so she'll definitely be an advantage to the Indonesia team. But you mentioned that Denmark and China were, of course, Indonesia's some strongest contenders later in the stage. But another contender for them is Thailand in Group B. And a key clash between the two countries will be the women's doubles showdown between Rahayu and Ramadanti and Kitty Tarakul and Prajongjai. Now, the two pairs actually met earlier this year at the quarterfinals of the Indonesia Masters, where the Thai duo won in the decider. In that particular match, back in the Indonesia finals, where the Thai duo won, what do you think gave the Thai duo an edge there?
I think that in that match, right, if we look at the score and we look at that the whole game went into a rubber setting, right, the game could have gone any direction. It could have been the Thais, it could have been the Indonesians. So given that this is the first meeting between these two pairings, the Thailand pair actually showed some grit, and they were able to move the Indonesian pair around the court a lot more, control the rallies a bit better, and get the points from there. So it's going to be an interesting match, and we'll see how, if they do match up against each other, how they'll play against each other again. But definitely, the Thailand pair will stand a slight advantage because they have already won the first meeting. Yeah.
So that definitely is a confidence boost for them as well.
That's right.
And on the topic of Thailand, they of course have Kunlavut Vititsan to rely on in the men's singles discipline. But over in the mixed doubles discipline, their top pair, Dechapo Pavaranu and Sapsari Teratana Chai, has been struggling pretty deeply in the recent tournaments. Is this something that the Thais should worry about?
Okay, so I do see that it's worrying for the Thais, given that now their top mixed doubles pairing is not really doing too well. If we look at start of 2023 till now, they haven't really won any competitions or even did well in those previous competitions. And also maybe it's slightly because it's leading up to the Olympics qualification period, so they may have the additional pressure on them to perform. Yeah, so I hope that this Thai mixed doubles pair can buck up and start to do better starting from this Sudirman Cup onwards.
Well, the pressure is definitely on for the Thai teams as well as for the other teams in Groups A, B, C and D. And unfortunately, with that, we have come to the end of today's episode. Thank you so much, Derek, for spending time with us across our 2 episodes.
Thank you, and glad to be here again.
Yes, we hope to have you back again on the show soon for sure. And for all of you back at home, we guarantee that this Sudirman Cup will be the best one yet. So don't forget to stay up to date with the latest updates through the BWF app, Badminton for You. Share your thoughts, questions and comments on our Facebook and YouTube page, and let us know which match you're most excited to watch. With that, I'll see you next week. Bye-bye!